Welcome back to the Hill Sunday. We had the chance to sit down for a rare interview with House Appropriations Committee Chairman Tom Cole. Aside from just the power of the purse, he's also key to keeping the narrow Republican majority on track. Here's our conversation. Obvious first question. It's December. December is coming. The clock is running. You're going to be a big part of whether or not there is a deal on spending. How long? Are you looking to have a deal? Do you think we could go for 10 months, which would be long by current standards? What are you looking for?
Well, I would like sooner is better, quite frankly. It's simply because I don't think President Trump should have to deal with the last Congress and the last administration's unfinished business. But the Speaker does not want to do a Christmas omnibus. I certainly understand that. But I would hope we could move pretty quickly. And obviously, we're not going to do things that are at odds with what President Trump would want us to do. But we did this to him, I think, last time when he came in 2017. We hadn't finished our business. We got a deal eventually, didn't get it signed until March. And frankly, he wasn't very happy with the deal, and I don't blame him. He was coming in at the end. He doesn't have his people in place yet. We'll want to work with his OMB director. We'll want to work, obviously, with the Secretary of the Treasury. So we'll move at the pace that the president wants us to move at.
So does a win look like something that takes you to October of next year, or what's
Yeah, I would love to get, well, we may need a short-term CR, again, to get us past Christmas. Obviously, we've got to act by December 20th. And that's where the Speaker seems to be right now. But I think the Speaker's like me. He wants to do what the President wants done. I personally think we'd be better off if we could get it done by late January, early February. But that's going to depend on whether or not we can reach a deal that's at least acceptable to President Trump.
Okay, of all the things that Donald Trump has a mandate to do, one of them is extend tax cuts, and rewrite tax legislation. You're chairman over at Appropriations, but all roads eventually are going to come by you. You're going to be a big part of this conversation. One of the things that's been discussed, proposed, is codifying tariffs and putting tariffs into sort of as an offset for tax cuts. What do you think of that, and how do you think Republicans ought to proceed?
This is one where you either trust the guy that's negotiating the deal, which is the President of the United States, or you don't. And I do trust Donald Trump. He used tariffs very effectively in his first term. And they're used sometimes, to raise revenue, sometimes to protect American businesses from unfair competition, and sometimes, frankly, as a bargaining chip in a bigger game that the president's playing that's beyond my purview. And I can just tell you, we're going to work with the president on that, and we're going to do what he wants to do.
What is your tax priority when you think about how taxes ought to?
Well, first thing for me would be to save as many of the Trump tax cuts because I think they've underpinned the economy long after he left office. I think insofar as we have a strong economy, it's because President Trump laid out, and we were all part of that, working for his first tax cut. Have a lot of confidence in Jason Smith, the chairman of Ways and Means. Again, he's a very close friend and associate. And I think he knows his business, and I think he'll work with the president to reorient the tax system to try and make the economy more productive, and frankly, probably to look toward helping the average guy more than anybody else.
So as we record this, the Republican majority in the 119th Congress looks like it'll be about the same size as it is in the current Congress, 222, maybe 221, but in the same space. Narrow majorities make for hard work. What do you tell your fellow Republicans about navigating these spaces?
Well, first of all, I tell them you have your majority because of President Trump. Look, he's won the popular vote. For the first time in 20 years, any Republican's been able to do that. And so we ought to be working with him to try and achieve his objectives. And I think it will be a little bit different this Congress simply because we've got a little bit of discipline. President Trump is not shy about expressing his opinions. I think all of my members have a very healthy respect for him. I got to tell you, in my own primary, his endorsement was instrumental. So I think that's true for a lot of our members. So in the end, I think most of them perform. Second, it makes a big difference having a Republican Senate. We were playing defense most of the time, making sure we didn't get another outrageous American Rescue Plan, another much misnamed Inflation Reduction Act. Those things are what blew up spending, and even Democratic economists, Larry Summers predicted when that happened, the former, of course, Secretary of the Treasury under Bill Clinton, former president of Harvard, world-class economist. I said, if you do this, you're going to have at least 6% inflation within a year. And boy, was he right. And he wasn't the only one. Jason Furman raised questions about spending. He'd been chairman of President Obama's Council of Economic Advisors. Steve Ratner, who'd been sort of Obama's car guy. All three of these guys were warning us, warning really the members in their party, don't go ahead with this spending binge. The economy's already recovering pretty rapidly. We were coming out of COVID. The growth rate was over 6%. The unemployment had fallen from about 14 again down to 6 or 7%. It was clearly, President Trump left President Biden a V-shaped recovery.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider, and don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.